A pigeon's random landing sent a stroke of luck her way, and just like that, she inherited a country villa for free. But she soon had regrets. Renovating the run-down place would cost a fortune. The faucets were clogged, the storage shed was filled with nothing but empty wine bottles and stacks of useless old newspapers, and random critters kept popping up and driving her crazy. Yet this very place would become the turning point in Mace's life. Just days earlier, Mace had seemed to have it all, a successful career and a happy family. Then came the darkest moment of her life. As a writer, Mace had a habit of leaving harsh reviews on books she didn't like. One author who'd been on the receiving end of her criticism decided to return the favor by revealing a secret. Her husband had been cheating on her. To make matters worse, the shameless man had the nerve to hire a lawyer and demand $200,000 in alimony. Mace couldn't come up with that kind of money. The alternative was to give up the house her mother had left her in exchange for a payout. Not only was she being forced out of her marriage, but she was also being kicked out of her own home. In the end, Mace had no choice but to accept her ex-husband's terms and leave the house she'd lived in for over 30 years. She wanted to take the furniture that had kept her company all those years, but all she was allowed to take were 2 boxes of personal belongings tucked away in a corner. Before leaving, she picked up a blue vase and poured the water right onto the floor. Mace moved into a short-term rental. The landlord mentioned that the place had seen plenty of people like her, one heartbroken divorcee after another. Once he left, Mace collapsed onto the floor like a deflated balloon. Her spirit was completely crushed. Soon after, her friends reached out to comfort her. They had planned a trip to Tuscany for her, hoping the getaway might help her get back on her feet. But for someone freshly divorced, Mace wasn't ready to open her heart again. The constant crying from the apartment next door didn't help either. And so, she found herself in Italy. Mace arrived in a small Tuscan town brimming with life. As she wandered through the crowded streets, she noticed a woman who stood out from the rest. The woman was cradling a newborn duckling, stroking its soft down feathers with the wonder of a little girl. Who acts like that? Mace was intrigued and decided to follow her. But after just one turn around a corner, she lost sight of the elegant stranger. Their story, however, was far from over. This woman would eventually become the beacon that pulled Mace out of her darkest days. A man's voice broke Mace's focus. She had been struggling with a postcard. The town was so beautiful, yet she couldn't find the words to describe it. Mace offered to help the man write a message on the back, but her romantic phrasing only made him cringe, and he tossed the postcard back at her in disgust.